Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me your ears. Hey, today I want to give you a simple strategy. A simple strategy that you can use to close out a presentation. Now, I always say that towards the end of a presentation, you have to stick the landing. Stick the landing is a phrase that I learned when I was on my TV show, Life or Debt. If you haven't checked out Life or Debt, go to Amazon or Hulu, type in Life or Debt, Victor Antonio. And I had a director who always said, Victor, when you make a statement, it has to be a powerful closing statement. You have to stick the landing. And obviously, he was using a gymnast analogy, right? Basically, when you come off the barge, when you land, you have to plant your feet. You have to stick the landing. Basically, what he was saying is you got to be strong. It's got to be firm right at the end when you do that. And in selling, it's the same thing. Towards the end of a presentation, we have to stick the landing. There's got to be a call to action. There's got to be a statement that we want made. There's got to be some type of commitment, some type of action we want the customer to take. So our job is to build that presentation so when we get to the end, we stick the landing when we make a final statement. Now, what I want to do is give you an idea of what this final statement should be. This is just one of many strategies I use, but I think this is powerful. What I want you to do is visualize. You've done a presentation, it's been a great presentation, and you've emphasized key points throughout the presentation. Now, the customer or the people in the room are overwhelmed, maybe. So what you want to do is you want to close out with 3 of your strongest points and then a call to action. So for example, visualize, if you will, your last slide has 3 data points on there, right? Let's say the first data point is 4, the number 4. The second data point is 10%. The third data point is $714. You do the presentation, and right at the end, you'll say something like this. Now, Mr. Customer, this is to your audience if it's a B2B scenario. He says, what we can guarantee is that you'll save on average with our platform and our software 4 days per month per salesperson. That's 4 days per month per salesperson. We also know that by using our platform, you'll be able to increase your conversion rate by a minimum of 10%. And then lastly, your average deal size using our platform will see an increase from what our numbers reflect of $714 based on your price points. And if you can reduce the number of days, increase your conversion rates by 10%, and increase your average order size by 714, isn't this something you'd like to take action on? And then go silent. Now again, I'm making these numbers up, but you get the idea. Too often we give them a lot of content and they're like, what are we doing? So what you want to do is create a very strong landing. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. How would you close out your presentation? What would be your 3 points that you make right at the end that then lead into a call to action comment? Based on the numbers I've just shown you, when should we get started? Based on these data points, is there any reason we shouldn't get started? See, that's the call to action. You're asking them for a commitment. Again, sticking the landing is one thing, making your 3 hard statements, but then asking for the order. And when I ask for the order, I'm also asking for buy now or what's the next step in the sales process? In other words, how do I advance the sale to the next stage? So think about this. Short podcast. I want you to think about this. If I asked you right now, you're closing out your presentation, what are your 3 closing points, strong closing points? I'm not talking about we're going to give you better service, we're going to be there for you all the time, and we're very customer-centric. Those are not strong closing points. If you can give the customer tangible benefits from what your product or service offers, and then you can quantify those numbers, that's what they want to hear. That's a strong landing. That's really sticking the landing. So again, give it some thought. What I want you to think about is, how would you close out your presentation, and then what would your call to action be? And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. It continues to grow, over 500 videos, all my books. If you're serious about increasing your sales velocity, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.